Anyone want any help, or can I start the session, guys? I'm asking you a question. Am I audible? Oh, just a second. This again, my speaker has gone. Yeah. So tell me, guys, does anyone want to share screen right away and need my help? Or are we good to go? Are we good to start? Nobody requires help? Yes, Rajiv.
मैम टेस्ट 1 में जो टाइम
share screen jaldi, because we don't want to waste time. Others will get affected. Dikhao jaldi. Error. I'll try to help you if I can.
मैम ये एरर नहीं है मैम, ये क्लिक किया ना मैं तो
अभी वो सर्वर डाउन है, सर्वर स्टार्ट करो.
यस
सर्वर पे जाके सिर्फ स्टार्ट करो. सर्वर पे ऊपर है ना, उसके कंसोल के ऊपर का ऊपर. एनीवे गो टू द सर्वर टैब एंड स्टार्ट द सर्वर. हाँ, वहीं पे जाके स्टार्ट द सर्वर. एक सेकेंड ना, मुझे देखने दो राजीव. आई वांट टू लुक एट द दिस थिंग. कंसोल पे मिलता है सभी.
यस मैम.
So you also keep looking at it, and if you figure it out any problem, that will be best. Like वो आ रहा है सभी, टेस्ट कंट्रोलर वगैरह आ रहा है.
ये मैम मेरे हिसाब से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. मैं ये पूछ रहा था कि टेस्ट 1 जो हम लोग क्लिक करते हैं ना, तो उसमें सिर्फ जो है टाइम स्टैम्प पे दिखा रहा है और नंबर लिस्ट नहीं दिखा रहा है.
हाँ, वो तो प्रॉब्लम हुआ ना फिर.
ओके.
प्रॉब्लम नहीं है क्या? प्रॉब्लम है. शो मी इन द मीन टाइम कंट्रोलर क्लास. दोनों दिखाना चाहिए ना, नंबर लिस्ट और दिस. अगर आपने रिक्वेस्ट को डॉट किया है तो दिखाना चाहिए. टेस्ट कंट्रोलर दिखाओ. ओके हाँ, अभी करो. आई मीन स्टार्ट गो टू द क्लाइंट ब्राउजर एंड रन इट. आई कैन सी एड एट्रीब्यूट किया है, नंबर अंडरस्कोर लिस्ट. और वहां पे दिखाओ, जेएसपी पेज पे दिखाओ. दिखाया कि दिख रहा है ना नंबर लिस्ट.
ये क्लिक किया, इसमें सिर्फ नंबर लिस्ट का टाइम स्टैम्प नहीं दिखा
अरे
रहा
वो अर्लियर रिक्वेस्ट में. Come on, Rajiv, you're wasting our time. You just what do you say? Stop the sharing. I'll tell you. I'll explain from my own screen. Because so that others will also understand. So, guys, answer my question, which Rajiv had asked me. If you run, okay, let me run this. I thought that was very obvious. So, guys, tell me, everyone participate, not just Rajiv. If you click on test model and view, which controller switch method is getting executed? Rajiv, you specially. इस controller की which controller switch method? Test controller की कौन सी method call हो रही है? Quickly. Guys, respond fast. We don't have the whole day just doing this. We've got so many interesting things planned. The test. Yes, this one. Test model and view. T1 का पता नहीं. I don't know what you said. Test model and view. And now tell me, Rajiv, in this request, how many server-side attributes request को model attributes you are adding? Just one. So naturally, it is so obvious that when you click on this, how many attributes will you see? Only one. It should be crystal clear. Because in that request response, we had not added the number list. But when we add this request, tell me which method the dispatcher servlet will call. Will it call test model and view, or will it call test model map? Test model map, right? And in that, how many attributes have we added under that response, under that model attribute map? 2. So naturally, you will see 2. So I mean, it's like a obvious thing it was. Okay, so anyway, so let's have a quick recap of what we said, and then we'll go ahead. So everyone has joined the session, which is good. So when I say you revise today before I enter the lab, I want the revision to be done in a particular manner. And anytime you want me to revise anything, I will always take it for you. So just a second. When I say stop the server, you don't have to go anywhere else. Click on this. There is a server, this, and stop it. Should not take you a lot of time. Okay. So what I mean by the request is here. You can either have your own copy if you're coding along, or you will be importing this project. And like always, you will be tracing each and every link. So right now, I don't want to waste time. So I'm tracing only, I'm revising only the last link. So start answering, guys. When client clicks on test model map, what will be the requesting URL pattern sent from client to server? Quick question, quick answer. It's a quick recap. What will be the URL pattern? A client browser will send you /test/test2. Who is saying test1? Can you not read this, please? Give answer little bit of thinking. Wrong, such a wrong answer is not acceptable. /test/test2. Okay. So now, is it ending in any .jsp or any extension? No. So tell me, can this be intercepted by your dispatcher servlet? Yes. Dispatcher servlet will consult whom? Handler mapping bean. So what will be the entry? What will be the key it will send in this case? Same. What is that same? /test/test2. And now tell me, will it return you, will the handler mapping return null or not null? Answer is not null. And why you are saying so confidently? Because here is the answer. There is a test controller which is sitting map to /test. So basic class level pattern. And we have added a method with a method level request mapping, get mapping pattern as this. So how will you put it together? Combine /test/test2. So will handler mapping return null or not null? Like you gave me correct answer, not null. And what will be the actual value it will return? Fully qualified test controller name and the method name also. So what is the method name it will use this time? Test model map or test model and view? Of course, test model map. And it knows that now it is going to only respond to which method? Get, put, post, or delete, or all of above. Answer is only get. So it will mention that in the key, and the hand is not ending. And it knows, container keeps all of this, that handler mapping keeps all the information. It is telling the Spring container, whenever you call this method, one dependency has to be injected. So which is the dependency your Spring container is going to inject while calling this method? Which is the dependency which will be injected by the container while calling the method? No answer. Model map. So this is, when you say model map, it is a map of which type of attributes? Map of model attributes, holder of model attributes. Okay. So the container is going to give you what? Empty model map or a populated one or a null value? Empty. Guys, since it is such an important concept, I have written everything here. So model OS UI is nothing but a holder map of model attributes. How do you means programmer, control, developer. How do you add model attributes? This is the method. Add attribute, string, comma, object. How to add two model attributes? Method chaining or two separate calls? Answer me. Of course, method chaining. If you want to do it in as two separate calls, it is okay. But method chaining is definitely supported. Now, this is important. Who is going to supply the empty model map? Container. That's not your headache. Creating the dependencies. Dependent objects are no longer required to create their own dependencies. You have a Spring container. So this is your, what is it called? Conventional programming or inversion of control. Inversion of control achieved via dependency injection. So now the next question and answer. Read this sequence 2-3 times till you get a particular point. I'm not saying read it whole end to end. Whatever you have not understood, read that. So how to tell Spring container that when I say you, what I mean is the handler method. Handler method needs a model map. Simply, do you need to add any auto-wired this thing annotation? Is it required or not required? 100% not required. So as a you simply add it as a argument of your method, and immediately this is a order given from the control handler programmer to Spring container. Give me empty model map. Are you understanding? So when the controller, okay, so now see the beauty, the simplification. What is the return type of this method? Is it a complex object like model and view, or is it simply a string? It is simply a string. But now the important statement, all statements I've written here, you can just put your diagram in front of you. So when controller, when I say controller, I mean request, where is that request? Handling controller, or you can say simply handler, returns a string. String is just taken as a logical view name. So guys, understand. So what is it I'm actually, what is it I am explicitly returning? I'll write it here. The handler returns explicitly the logical view name, LVN. And what is that logical view name we are sending back? /test/test1. Okay. But can anyone answer my next question? What is implicitly getting sent? So what is it? What is implicitly, internally, implicitly sent? Anyone? Is it only a logical view name, or is it the model attributes both? It is both. So it is implicitly, LVN is already there, logical view name plus map of, or I can say model attribute, or model, or you can say map of model attributes. Okay, so who is doing it explicitly? Rather, who was doing it explicitly here? Programmer. And who is doing this implicitly for us now? Spring container. And now the whole rest of the story is the same. So now figure it out. Here, what is being sent actually or implicitly to the front controller? Logical view name plus map of model attributes, or you can say two model attributes. So now don't make a mistake. Out of that, what is the only thing which will be sent to the view resolver bean? Logical view name. What will be the actual view name returned by the return to the whatever, return to the dispatcher servlet? You know this. It is a dumb translator. When I say dumb, I mean there's nothing intelligent about it. It just takes a logical view name and puts it between prefix and a suffix. Correct? So now the control comes back here. So now what will container do? Container means dispatcher servlet do. It will always check, are there any model attributes present? So tell me, where will it go to? No branch or yes branch? Yes or no? Answer is yes. How many model attributes this time? One or two? Two attributes. So these attributes, whose job it is to push? Push means to save. These model attributes under the request scope, dispatcher servlet job. You can say Spring job. Okay. And then, of course, the default navigation scheme is forward, which is what? This thing, server pull. So here then it will call the request dispatcher forward and the control goes to the page. So anyone tells me, which is the page I'm using between these two actions? The same test1 page, Rajiv. Okay. So if you follow this action, how many attributes we were pushing there, Rajiv? Only one attribute. So naturally, when EL syntax comes across null, it prints blank. But when you are clicking on the last link, how many attributes are we pushing under the model attribute scope? 2. So both the values you'll get. And that is what we have finished so far. Are you kind of clear? Okay, 10%, 20%, 30% clear. Understood this one, Rajiv, also, because you are asking questions, so I'm taking your name, nothing personal. Are we clear, Rajiv? Understood what I said? No response. So here, the complete story is written here. And we have already hidden the index page under WebINF using the how? Using the controller. What is home page controller? Got it? Okay. Yeah, but Rajiv, I told you already, the answer was already given earlier using the model attributes. Okay. So now we are starting with the content management system, a modified flow diagram. So why don't you look at it first? I have already sent you the full day 16 help. So you can open this. And guys, for the rest of the day, initially not Spring Boot, later Spring Boot. Later means looks like in the lab session. So anyway, because Spring Boot first I have to get it done. So it will be better done in the lab session. We'll see how it goes. Don't worry. So basic flow diagram is the same. The customer flow, I don't think I have modified anything, nothing. But the admin flow, I have modified a lot. So in the admin flow, after the admin, what was happening? This is the full-fledged case study. So it's not your project worthy, but yeah, you can think of it as a mini project or something. Okay, so after admin login successful, all this hello admin name and all, admin chooses a topic, let's say servlet, choose topic. This is your grid view kind of a thing. So tutorials under topic servlet, that is the servlet topic chosen. So suppose there are page navigation techniques, life cycle, session tracking related. This is all CRUD, but with a relationship, not ordinary CRUD. So admin can update tutorial contents or delete the tutorial and all that. Or also this part I had got it done from you, adding a tutorial. So this whole thing will definitely make you more than comfortable in Spring MVC. Initially means only a small part of it I'm going to solve without Spring Boot, and then majority will spend it with the Spring Boot. Got idea what we are going to do today, tomorrow? Got the flow diagram? So I hope this is sufficient enough to get your hands-on done, to give you a good practice so that you will be project ready, kind of. And okay, so I'll tell you the plan. So we will get it done in the Spring Web MVC, a monolithic application. And then I told you I'm going to give you a React frontend, not for this. This is little over the top complex, but I'll give you a simple CRUD, what you have done already in React. And then we will develop the backend for that. And that is when I'll get a chance to show you REST controllers and the request body, response body, JSONs and all that. Okay, so today, tomorrow, no REST controllers. We are just in Spring MVC. And using Spring MVC understanding, I'm going to take you to REST APIs. That's the plan. Okay, so now let us get started. So here, you can stop all this. Okay, sorry. Save this. And let's identify this one. So the first thing is, I want to, the requirement which I'm going to solve, or rather we are going to solve without taking you to Spring Boot is authentication. So start answering the questions. We have been using this login form for like ages. So this login form, view layer login.jsp, where should you keep this login form? First question. Where should you copy this login.jsp? Two choices are, I already got an answer, web app or under WebINF use, 100% WebINF use. You got it? Why? Because you don't want to give access, direct access to the view layer. Everything should be routed through which one? Which is that centralized dispatcher? DS, dispatcher servlet. Everyone with me? So let us start building this case study part by part. And when I say authentication, how are we going to authenticate? Of course, database. The moment I say database, what is it will have to bring back? POJOs, DAOs, and you will have, we had earlier the, this thing, what is it called? Java Bean. So that Java Bean will be replaced by the business logic service layer. So this is where, initially I'll just take you to the controller, and then we are going to integrate it with your another famous technology, as you know, ORM, Hibernate. So first we will do the Spring Hibernate integration without using Spring Boot. You will see so many things you have to do when you don't have automatic support of Spring Boot. And then I'm going to take you to Spring Boot. That's the plan. So let's do one thing at a time. That is the reason, guys. Now, all these last few days we have together, I want you to build it parallelly. So if you get a doubt, you can just ask me. Only thing I was telling, like Raji was not asking me that actually. But if you need me to share the screen, that I won't be able to do it in this. So keep all your non-working stuff in lab. We will help you there. Okay, enough of talk. Let's get started. So have I stopped? Stop the server, guys. If you have not stopped already, go to any earlier project, which was the last one, day 14 CMS Hibernate. Anything. I just want you to copy the login page. So I have opened day 14. You have login pages all over the place. So copy that, or rather find it out, web app, and pick up login.jsp. And wait, don't, unless until you know the Spring MVC already, don't go ahead. So listen to the question. Just a second, I'm just thinking about it. I'll just give you a minute. I'm just forming the thing. Okay, so I already asked you and you answered me very rightly. It should be under the web INF. So this login page, is it separate for admin as an actor, customer as an actor, or is it a common login page? It's a common login page. Okay. So, but guys, which are the folders we have created under the views for separation? A test folder. That was for the testing scripts. So let us create a subfolder user. Okay. And under user, we will keep the login and logout page. Guys, I'm just taking a common content out, such as login, logout, which is going to be common between two actors, two players, admin and the customer. So you'll have a better feel. So in short, right click on views, new, JSP directly. We can, sorry. We have a JSP. Sorry, create a folder. I'll repeat, web INF views, new folder. And what is the name? I can give anything. But user is like a common part of an admin and a customer. I'm just calling it as a user folder. And please paste JSP there. You understood my thinking? You understood the justification why I'm doing it? Soon you will have customer and admin, and accordingly we'll do that. Okay, that way. I'm just doing the separation, nothing else. Open the login page, please. And tell me, this is going to be within Spring MVC. So will you have any Java beans here or gone? Java bean or no Java bean? Absolutely not. Java bean was just your warm up to understand Spring Bean. Okay, so get rid of it. And currently, remove this error message. We are going to bring it back, don't worry, but in a MVC manner, So I think we just keep the form. So form action, this is post method and all that. Okay. So right now, let's not worry about too many things. Just keep the form. Done. Anywhere you don't do it in the particular speed, just let me know. I can send you that page. In between, I'll keep sending you things. Now tell me, if the client directly gives a URL, which URL? /webinf/view/user login.jsp, what will she get? 404 or the login form? 404. So now do the reverse engineering and give me a link which will take me to the login form. So copy the link. And here, all I'm saying is user login. And I'm giving you a minute to fill up this href. That will show me your understanding of Spring MVC. I'll give you a clue. Anyway, I'll not give you a clue. You tell me. Tell me the href, please. Suggest something. Very good, guys. So I was just worried, somebody will say login.jsp. You can't. So this will be submitted to the view layer or request handling controller. Request handling. Shubham, slash is wrong. Slash will kill you. It will show you 404. Request handling controller through that handler mapping. So you can simply say user/login. Okay. These are the standard things I will suggest always. So now I start with the usual stuff. When you click on this, if you say /user/login, it will skip that context bar and URL itself, URI will start with /user/login. There is no context with the name /user. So that's why it will kill you. Okay, so start. When the client clicks on this, keep this diagram all the way in front of you. Go faster this time. What will be the URL pattern client will send here? This time it will be /user/login. Who will dispatch a servlet consult? Handler mapping bean. What will be the key supplied there? /user/login. Correct? What will it send? Null or not null? What is the next action I should take? Should I define a new user controller or should I add a new method in the existing controller? New controller or new method? New method is a wrong answer. I want to separate all the common actions between customer and the whatever was that admin into this. New controller is a very right answer. So let us get started. And what is the incoming URL pattern we have? /user/login. Are you understanding stuff, guys? The mapping part of it at least. What has to map with what? Great. So open what? Open the controller, package, right click on COM app controller, new class, and let's call it as user controller. User controller is going to contain the common actions which you have for a admin as well as customer. No extends, no implements. That is the beauty of Spring Framework. I'm just telling you something like an interview question. When you are describing, when you are selling Spring Framework to the interviewer, in the sense, when you are justifying why we have used the Spring Framework in our project, one of the word you can throw at the interviewer is Spring Framework is minimum intrusive framework. I've written all this in the README Spring. What is the meaning of minimum intrusion? Here, Spring Framework doesn't force you, doesn't tell you to extend or implement from any Spring APIs. This is just a separate standalone, good old Java class. And this makes the testing practices so easy. So it was a little heavyweight. We'll come back to it later. So start filling up. Add controller, mandatory or optional, M or O, mandatory. Now I have done a two-layer pattern. So where will I place this /user? Class level or method level? C or M? Class level. What is the allowed class level annotation? Request mapping, get mapping, post mapping, etc. Only request mapping. Okay. Request mapping and /user. So here just add implies all user related actions. Action means, when I say action, what I mean is really the request handling methods. Actions common to admin and customer. These are the two players in my system, right? Will be mapped here or will be whatever serviced here, you can see. Okay. Just as a debugging practice, add the constructor so that anytime you are running in doubt what is working, what is not working, you know the basic debugging. Okay. So this part is pretty common. And now I'll give you a comment and you will give me the code. Add request handling method to forward the client to the login form. Okay. Waiting here for a minute. You give me the code. I'll give you this part in case you need comment. Very right, this one, Rajiv. That was the earlier answer. Very right. Yeah. So waiting here for a minute. You give me. You know everything. Whatever you don't know, I'll never ask you. So this is called in jargon show form phase. This is not a process form, please. We have to download the form to the client. Yes, if you are confused, tell me, we don't know how to proceed, I'll show you. But if you can, I think you will be able to do it. You are just going to give me the method. Post mapping is wrong. This one, Kanak. You are clicking, client is clicking on the link, so it has to be get mapping. Kunal, be specific and use get mapping. Yogesh is right. So /login, go to login page, return /login. Rest all is fine. This one, Kanak, /user/login is not required. You all, sorry. You are right. My mistake. Your return type will be /user/login. So I don't know whether I confused you. So here, start with the get mapping first. Why get mapping? You're clicking on a link. So of course, a get request. What is the incoming value? /user is already taken. So simply login. All I want to return is, your choices are logical view name, model attributes, both or neither. In this action, yes, you are right, Prashant and all. Only logical view name. So keep it light and simple, string. And I can say show login form, or like somebody had given go to login form, something. As long as you understand the method names, I'm good. How many, do you need any model map to be injected here? I'll tell you how to think about it. Are there going to be any results as a login action? Answer is no. So if there are no business results, why you want a map? Why you want a model attribute? So no dependencies. Add a tracer in show login form. And here return is what is important. So who is returning? Who's going to return what to whom? Your handler is going to return a logical view name. So like somebody had already given where I said wrongly. Later we have a user namespace. When I say user namespace, we have a user folder under web-inf use /user/login. Am I done it correctly? /user/login. Yes, and the .jsp will be added. So now tell me, what will be the actual view name? For couple of first actions, first request, write it so that you won't get confused. web-inf/views. This slash will be added, user/login.jsp, and that is exactly where our page is. Read the title, read the path. src main web app, web-inf views user login.jsp. I'm telling you guys, in J2E, it is all about understanding and matching. So that's it. /user/login. This does the job. 100% clear? Yeah, I know. Thanks. So this is done. Now our login.jsp is already done. So why don't we test it? Little incremental testing. Add a controller method, test it out so the job doesn't pile up. And you can detect the errors very easily. Don't be in a hurry, ever. So hello controller looks good. Homepage controller, test controller, and last we added is a user controller. Are you all seeing all these controllers up and running? Okay, because that is a confirmation that things are going to work. And if they don't work, then it is just a small problem, spelling mistake or something. And when you do this, you should see our login form. And if you notice, you should always notice, you should be a good observer to be a good developer. Here, is it showing you login.jsp, the URL? No. Anyone wants to tell me why it is not showing in the URL? Use this thing, login.jsp. One word answer. No, Girish, wrong answer. Wrong answer. All wrong. No. Totally wrong, Prashant. It's not, yes, Dhananjay is right. Guys, which is the technique your container is using? Server pull. So what is the request which is sent from the client? /user/login, and it is It is, what is it got? It is moving across so many layers, and here the container is forwarding the client to the view layer. But forward means what? In the same request. So I'll ask you the age-old question. If servlet S1 is forwarding to S2, whose URL pattern, whose URL the web browser will see? S1 or S2? S1. So what is that S1 today? /user/login. Are you getting why we spent so many days on the earlier work? See this here. Client is going to just generate one request /user/login. It travels all these layers, and it is the JSP who is generating the response. But because of the forward view or server pull, client doesn't know a thing. Got me completely? Okay, so now let's proceed. You can stop the server because we're going to code things. So I think everyone's show form is done. Showing the login form, sending the login form back to the client is done, which was hardly anything. Now open the login.jsp and tell me, by the way, okay, I'm closing this outline, task list and all unwanted things. Okay, so anyone wants to make any change? Okay, I'll not waste your time. We have a lot of things. Change or no change in this line. Okay, answer is change. Suggest me the change. If there is a change, absolutely. Yes. Method equal to get? No. I don't want to send my critical data. Yes, absolutely correct. The action is wrong. Okay, let us say I don't change the action. Okay, so what is the action? Validate.jsp. So when the client submits the form, what will be the URL sent by the whatever client? It will end in /validate.jsp. Can it be intercepted by the dispatcher servlet then? Answer is no. And more importantly, do you want to take the client to the this thing view layer directly? Absolutely not. You got this? So here action is going to be the only thing which is changed. Agreed? Understood all the statements? Why action has to be changed? Okay. So one way is like somebody had suggested me, you know, user/validate or some such thing. But I have a better pattern than this. All I'm telling you are the completely professional techniques people adopt. So here, what about no action? Okay, remove the action and tell me, if you don't add the action, which is the default action to which form will be submitted to? Wrong. Slash is wrong. What is the default action? The default action is the same URL to which the form was, from which the form was generated. Can anyone give me? Okay, don't give me the whole URL. Can you give me the URL pattern? Okay, answers are always in the URL. So anyone wants to tell me exactly which URL pattern? /user/login. The moment this thing, the action is gone, the default action is the same action as earlier. So same page means what? /user/login. You somebody, all of you said /, I don't know why, but anyway, so just try it out. Okay, what you do is remove the, remove the action from here, save it and all. And I shouldn't have stopped the server, guys. Anyway, takes a minute. Run on server. Finish. Just want to confirm the point, prove the point. So this looks good to me. User login takes me somewhere and see what I'm doing. So many things for you to notice. I hope you remember all this from servlet, guys. Forget that. First, look at the URL. So which is the URL? Which is the default action URL? Everyone got convinced? Same. What is that same? /user/login. So when I meet you in the lab today, when I take a revision, if you want, I'll always take a revision from user login. If you want any earlier point revise, I can do that also. But from user login, 100% I'm going to revise. So at that point, we are going to write down, this is the request URL and this is the response set. Trust me, that helps you a lot over in the long run. So /user/login. Now, do you remember this error? Error code 405? I hope answer is yes. So, so what is that error? And you don't have to apply your brains. Anyone wants to tell me what is it saying? Yeah, that I can read. Guys, Nidhi, Prashant, I can read that. I want the interpretation. Better answer. Okay, let's start the story exactly. So here, the story goes like this. You know the age-old, I'm not age-old, okay, 1-day-old story. Again, the form is submitted with /user/login, but this time method equal to post. So give me a minute. Goes to the dispatcher servlet, there's no extension. Dispatcher servlet will send it to the whatever, handler mapping, and handler mapping bean will return what? Null or not null? Handler mapping bean will return this time null. Absolutely correct. Because you have written, is our request /user/login, is it servicing all type of requests or only get? Only get. Are you understanding it? So now everyone knows what is the next step we have to take. For submitting the form, we have to add a same action. I have to change from get to post, or do I have to add a new method? New method. Because one method is for show form phase, other method is for process form phase. Clear completely? I hope whatever you learned in the first 2 weeks is helping you to understand all this fast. Great. If you have a question, anytime ask. So let us stop the server. See the symbol. Click on it and stop, because we are going to actually write some Java code. Open your controller, please. And first add the comment. Identify what is to be done, what we want to do. Add a request handling method to process the login form. Clear 100% the requirement, and how we are submitting the form, how we have submitted the form. Post. Is the URL same or different? URL pattern same. So let's ask you. Of course, it will be replaced by post mapping. Read this, read. Annotation for mapping HTTP post request onto a specific handler method. So this is the handler method we are writing. Anyone wants to tell me what should be the value of it? Everyone should be able to tell me. Okay, you forgot one slash. So slash, see, we have come till /user. So simply add /login. Fine. And always give the meaningful names. Thanks to this model map and all, I can still keep the return type as a simple string. Anytime you want to go to the complex object model and view, you can, but string will also suffice. And this time call it as show login form is done, process. I give the standard names, standard in the sense, simple names, which will make you realize process login form. And right now, I'll just do things. SOP. Let us write the template code. Template means some debugging code in process login form. And here, currently I don't know what to return, so I'll simply return null. We are not going to return null, guys. This is where the whole action and whole things will start. So let us give you time to finish this much. I don't think you need this code, but still sending you. You let me know when you are done. मेथड नेम गेट ही लिखा होता, मेथड नेम से कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. Why should method name matter? Are you saying get mapping यहाँ पे लिखते तो? Are you saying get mapping in that in the annotation or the method name, Kunal? What are you asking? If you say get mapping, there would be ambiguity. How can two methods respond to the same URL pattern and same method? It would have caused a classic ambiguity. Why not slash login in line number 15? Oh yeah, sorry. My mistake. It works sometimes with a slash or without slash, but good point. I mean, let's keep it all consistent. Slash login, my bad. Anything else? That was an overlook from my side. It works, but guys, if you read the Spring API docs, it suggests that you use the URL pattern properly. So I have corrected it. Now, let's proceed. So tell me, in this method, what is it you want to do? Okay, I'll give you two choices. Do you want to display the login form? Do you want to show the login form, or do you want to process the login form? Answer is obvious. You want to do the processing. Yes, I got a very good answer. So now let me ask you, when this form is submitted, which form I'm talking about? Login form. How many request parameters are we getting from the client to server? 2. Everyone knows that. So if it was a servlet, can you tell me which method you would have used to read these request parameters? What are you answering? Yes, you've forgotten servlets. Request.get parameter is the method. But now, are we writing it in a servlet, or are we writing it in a MVC? I mean, Spring MVC. We are writing it in Spring MVC. So no such Java code is required. I'm after reducing your code, not increasing the code. So which is the annotation used to tell the container to read the, I've taken a different example, that eShop, I mean product controller and all that, but you can understand the point. So the name of the annotation itself is @request param. And where does it appear? It appears directly in a method argument. So here, let's do it, and then we will sit back and understand. So open that user controller, and here, I don't want to write the age-old code request.get parameter like servlet. So Spring container is your slave. Just tell Spring container to inject 2 request parameters in your method. So which is the annotation for that? As said already, the name of the annotation is @request param. Read. Annotation which indicates that a method parameter should be bound to the request parameter. Once you read this, why you require my help? You don't. So request parameter @request param is for binding what into what? Tell me in your own words. What is it going to bind to what? Binding between. Write in short forms. Other way, your direction is wrong. Request parameter to method argument. Okay, this is to bind. I'll write it in a minute. So request param. Now read here. Realize something. So what is the name of the request parameter we are having? One is email and one is password. I'm not talking about the type. I'm talking about the name. So guys, there is a shortcut. If you give the same name as the request parameter, your code reduces. Now tell me, what is the data type of email and a password? String or not a string? Of course, a string. So here I'm saying @request parameter email. I'm going to write a Java code in a minute. And now I have one more parameter to inject. So here @request param. Suppose this time I say password. So can you smartly guess and answer? Suppose I log in as rama@gmail.com with her password 1234. So what will be the value of email and what will be the value of PWD then? If I write it as it is, what will I get the correct email? rama@gmail.com? Say yes or no. Yes. And what will be the password? 1234 or null? 100% null. Guys, where is the attention? Those who said 1234. Have I matched this word request parameter name to the method argument? No. So Spring container is not a magician unless until you do the matching. Doesn't it remind you of things? Do you remember JSP colon set property equal to star. You are remembering or not remembering? You remember? So that time web container was in charge. So we had to match what to what? Request parameter names to Java Bean properties. Are you remembering? So the setters were called automatically. Now there is no need for writing setters, nothing. There is a directly method argument level DI, dependency injection. So 100% you will get a value null. So if you want to tell a Spring container that the name of the request parameter is not PWD but password, additional code. Additional code means additional property of this. Here you supply the name. And that name is PWD or password. What should I give this name? Password, of course. So guys, answer my next question. This form is easier to write, or this form, first form or second form is easier to write first form. That is why I've written in sequence. All the things I have written in sequence. What is recommended? Recommendation is match request parameter names with method argument names. Understood what has to match with what? Not has to. It is better recommendation. So that which extra bit will be gone? I don't have to give this extra, the name equal to password. I can just do it by matching. Understood what I'm saying? So what is the Java code container will call internally? Same old code as we were calling in a servlet 15 days back. Request.get parameter. Okay, I'll say this full. String email is equal to request.get parameter email. And string PWD is equal to request.get parameter password. And if you just do the matching, which one is gone? This extra bit. Do you still require to give the name to the request parameter? Absolutely not. Simplified thing. And here, don't leave anything. This is your first day or okay, second day, whatever in Spring MVC, but you are still a beginner. So please display this and appreciate Spring MVC. If we wanted to do it in JSP Java Bean, so many things I had to do. I had to write a Java Bean class. We had to write two properties, email, password, had to provide setters. And in JSP, I had to call JSP colon set property equal to star. And as you can see, none of it is required. It is all replaced by couple of annotations. So add a line here because I told you, I'm preparing you for interview as well as exam help and the project help and all. So what is that so-called at request param? It's a annotation. It's a, I'll say this properly. Method argument level annotation. You have seen class level annotations, method level annotations, field level annotations. Today I'm showing you for the first time method argument level annotation to bind what to what? Request parameters to method arguments. I'll send you this whole with a, oh sorry, return null. Okay, return null we have yet to fix. I hope you got the meaning. So this is that binding we are doing. And what will be the code? Spring container invokes the Java code such as, I'll write it in this so that everyone is like in loop. Same old code, request dot get parameter. And the name of the parameter, if you don't supply any special name, it will be a method argument name, email. So this is what is the easiness. All this is, see, the concept is not changed. Only thing is we are coming to advanced frameworks where you have to do less and container slogs harder. Container does much more. Are we clear so far? Now the second question. So I have got email and password. So here, should we do the business logic processing and the data access layer, that database stuff in the controller, or should we start involving additional layers? In controller or in different layer? Of course, in different layer. Are you understanding it? So model is basically the data part. So now come back to this diagram. Just a second. I think day 14 May. Comparison. So forget about the JSP Java Bean now. Focus only on Spring MVC. So answer the question. Don't look at risk controller. We are not yet there. In 2 days time, we will be there. So controller is going to call whose method for executing the business logic? Answer that. Answer is right in front of you. This is the layer. This is the full-fledged layers we are going to develop. Controller is going to call the service layer method. So somebody was saying model and all. So model was represented by a Java Bean plus Pojo in JSP Java Bean days. So now the business logic is nicely separated in a service layer. Okay, don't worry about that optional and all. We will keep it today. Okay, and this service layer we will develop. So controller will call the service layer method. Got it? Now, so a service layer job will be a business logic, like how you are writing business logic methods in the bean. Here you will write it in the service layer. But now take a pause and tell me. Everyone must have written Hibernate based DAO layer. Maybe like almost 4 or 5 days we were there. So was it containing some boilerplate, repetitive code, or no boilerplate? I'm talking about Hibernate based DAO layer full of boilerplate code. And what was it doing basically? Getting the session, beginning a transaction, and then committing or rollbacking the transaction depending on the outcome. So basically what we were doing is okay, let me rephrase. Who was managing the transaction so far? Programmer, or was it done automatically by the framework? 100% clear. Why? Because you were beginning a transaction, you were committing or rolling it back. So who was managing the transaction? 100% programmer. But when you come to Spring, Spring says, okay, you want transaction management? Don't take efforts. I will do it for you. Okay. And that I will do it for you, that automatic transaction management is done with one annotation. Of course, there's a deeper meaning to that, but deeper meanings and all later. So add transactional annotation. If you add, are you going to again write that repetitive boilerplate code in the DAO layer, or is it all going to go to zero? Answer is, it is all going to be replaced to nothing. Okay, so that is what you are going to learn, and you will see, you'll be so happy knowing that this thing, all the DAO layer becomes so thin. So you'll say, why are you mixing? The transactional annotation typically we write in service layer, but data access logic I don't want to write in the service layer. So tell me, controller will call service layer method. Service layer will call whose method? Answer is again in front of you, DAO layer method. And there are proper annotations. There's an at service, there's an at repository. And why? Okay, in our earlier days, we had to write Hibernate utils. What was the job of a Hibernate utils, guys? To provide the singleton session factory, provider of a session factory, right? So here, do you see any Hibernate utils in the new layers? It's gone. So all you have to do is, in order to get that session factory, you have to add. See, it is not magic. So you have to tell Spring Framework, which is your database, as in, which is your JDBC driver, what is the DB URL, what is the username and a password. And then we will also add some Hibernate specific things. So guys, what are we entering? We are entering nothing but Spring and Hibernate integration. So the front end will be, I'm not talking about full stack. We are away from full stack. I'm just having a one monolithic web application. I'm not into microservices yet. So we have just one web application, but the front end will be MVC, model view controller, and the back end is going to be Hibernate. Understood the technology which we are going to use? Simple words, Spring MVC plus Hibernate. And if you don't understand it, don't feel too bad about it. By the end of the day, I'll ask you the same question again. Are you clear, types? Okay. So here, to tell you the data flow, controller will call the service, will call the DAO layer. DAO layer, without having any boilerplate, because transaction management is already taken care by your transactional annotation, it will hit the database. But which is the layer which will be 100% unchanged from your earlier training to today is the POJO layer. I told you long back. Focus maximum on POJO in Hibernate training because all the other layers are going to get diluted. Diluted means thinned down and all that, right? So this layer will be as it is. So if you want to configure as a standalone entity, user entity, you will have at entity at ID. Anytime you say, okay, user has a credit card, he wants to like download a tutorial, we are charging. So for example, whatever I mean. So then you can go for embeddable. So this is what we are going to manage in a Spring Hibernate integration manner. And like I said, there's no Hibernate utils, but you cannot go ahead without a session factory. So important statement. Instead of dependent object, creating the dependency or getting that dependency from Hibernate utils, whom are you going to order? Our new pet, I mean new slave, that is your Spring container. And what is the way to tell Spring container that get me that dependency injected? This will be your auto add annotation, which is nothing but automatic wiring by type. Getting 1%, 2% at least. Okay, so let's do it in a step-by-step manner. And then, of course, we are going to come back to this and then we are going to proceed. I can't proceed anything unless until my POJO, my database, my DAO layer and my service is done. So pause this, pause it at this level. And now let me tell you the steps of integration. So without you do the integration, you can't do anything. So I have not written, I think I've written it in some pages. I'll write it just here. So I'll write a step and we will perform it. So the 6.1. So how do you integrate Spring MVC with Hibernate without Spring Boot? We have yet to enter Spring Boot, you know that. So copy the templates. Which two templates? There are two templates I'm giving you. Database.property file, database properties, and Hibernate persistent XML persistence. I think I've given the name .xml under which folder. So you can copy it under WebINF also, but typically all the resources we copy under SRC main resources. So under the resources folder. It is also in the runtime class path. So this is the step. Let us follow it together. Just ensure that, open that Spring Hibernate templates, guys. The Java EE help, I'm sorry, D15 data, D15 help Spring Hibernate. Found it? Pick up two things. Oracle we are not using, so database, and third one, Hibernate persistence. Found the templates? Okay, now come to your whatever application, you can say Control-Shift-W. And where are you going to paste it under? You remember our Hibernate configuration XML was here. So that has been replaced by some other property files. And first thing is edit database properties. I've just added one more property. So all you are going to edit is username and password. Edit it. Because I think I have already, DAC22 is already there. See, one more property I have added. Create database if doesn't exist. So our database DAC22 is already there. But in your project, such things help you. It will start by creating the database by the name. For example, hospital management system or e-shop or whatever, e-commerce and all that. And then the tables will get created. Waiting here for a minute, do it fast. Don't touch any of it other than the username and password. Done. This is good old. We used to do it in what? In Hibernate CFG XML file. Now I'm using a database property file. please, we have suffered. We means as a faculty, we have suffered because of the freshers mistake, nothing personal, but I'm guarding you so you don't suffer. So guys, sometimes what happens is, you add an extra white space and then you start getting wrong username, database and all that. So please delete. I said just delete. So I can see that there is no white space here. So I'm all good. And at the end also, you just see, delete this so that there are no extra white spaces. This is only by observation you get to know, because you can make all possible mistakes. So I'm asking you again, after your username and root password, no extra white spaces, please. Done? Checked it out. Otherwise, later it will fail and then you'll feel so bad. Okay, so this is done. Now open the other one, which is quite big. So today, looking at time, not really time, but looking at this is how I do it generally. I'll just give you a superficial overview, and tomorrow, or maybe I don't know, maybe most likely tomorrow, I'll give you a bit detailed answers of that. So let me start asking you things. Okay, by the way, this is the first bean I'm explaining, but before that, sorry, there's something else. So here I'm telling Spring container, these are all Spring Bean configuration files, not read by Hibernate at all. So here I'm telling Spring, where is my database property file? It is under the runtime class path, and whatever you keep under SRC main Java and SRC main resources in the Maven project is added under the class path. So this is where I'm telling the location, supplying location of the database property file. Now I'm explaining this bean in under a minute kind of a thing. So I need your answers. More detailed answers tomorrow. So coming back to the point, what is Rav saying? Right. So since we shifted from JDBC to Hibernate, are we using fixed connectivity or connection pool? Connection pool. Who was the vendor of connection pool earlier? Earlier means in the native Hibernate. No. Wrong. I said who was creating the connection pool? I'm still not getting. Guys, Hibernate was creating the connection pool for us. I had mentioned that. Hibernate gives you a warning that this is an internal connection pool, not industry grade. Do you remember me saying such things? Yes or no, something. Hibernate given connection pool. If you don't remember, open Hibernate CFG XML. There was a property connection pool size, and we were giving the maximum connection pool size as 10. Ringing any bells or not? Remembering or not? Okay. So now take a look at this, and DBCP stands for database connection pool. So can you just tell me from your common sense, who is giving you this connection pool as a data source? Hibernate or somebody else? Answer is somebody else. Hibernate, Sumit, read the tag. Oh, that may be the earlier answer. Of course, it is Apache. So there are three vendors. One is Apache, one is C3P0, and Spring Boot when I take you Hikari. So this is an industry grade connection pool. And we are not using that Hibernate's internal connection pool, replacing it by Apache supplied vendor. So this is where I'm injecting JDBC driver, JDBC URL, username and password. And this is, I think anyone can get it. What is the minimum core size of the pool I'm starting with? 1. And you can change this to whatever. You can say 10. Maximum total size as 10. Understood that? So here we are configuring your connection pool. Do I have to write any Java code for this, or is XML configuration doing the job? XML is doing the job. To be replaced by Spring Boot in a while. So this gives you the connection pool. Now read the next tag, most interesting. Again a bean. So here I will stay quiet for a half a minute and I'll start asking you questions. Read the tag. I said superficial, but I'm going a little deeper than surface level. Okay, so here are the questions. Who is supplying your, let me phrase, who is supplying the local session factory bean? Your choices are programmer, Spring, Hibernate, or a web container. Everyone can understand. Now guys, pay special attention. This is standard, any starting point. So tell me, which module now we are entering? Is it a web module or is it a data access module? We are entering a data access module. But data access module has JDBC and ORM. So which is the part we are entering? JDBC or ORM? ORM. Which is the vendor of the ORM we have chosen? It's a JPA vendor. Hibernate, iBatis, JDO, Kodo, or whatever. Hibernate. Hibernate, okay, this Spring supports Hibernate 3 version, Hibernate 4 version, Hibernate 5 version. So which are the jars which I have given you? See, I'm not giving any loose answer. I'm trying to. So if you see the Hibernate jar, Hibernate, where is that? Oh, sorry, I opened something else. I wanted to open the Maven dependencies. Check it out. You know the answer. Where is my Hibernate jar? Okay, so which Hibernate jars are we using? 3.x, 4.x, or 5.x? We are using Hibernate 5 jars. See, I'm explaining so that any question comes your way, you know what it is and you can answer confidently. So we are using Spring supplied Hibernate 5 compliant local session factory bean. I mean, Spring is supplying. Okay, so spend a minute. Without anyway, when I discuss, I can't get it, like we can't leave it superficial. So please open. If you can't open, you can look from here. Search for local session factory bean. Okay, you'll get a match. And here, choose it from yeah. So from the, just a second. Yeah, choose it from Hibernate 5, the older one. Okay, that is a builder anyway. So I'm sorry, it doesn't support the earlier versions. Earlier it used to. So it is supporting Hibernate 5. We want Hibernate 5, doesn't matter. Now you have to read the things slowly. So I'll just take you. So wait a second. Yeah. So read this whole paragraph. What is that local session factory bean? Read. Only till this part. So much information you are getting, guys, just by reading API docs. So I have a question. Who is going to create singleton, immutable, thread safe, heavyweight session factory object? Programmer using Hibernate utils or Spring container? P or SC? Spring container. Using which class? Who is going to be the provider of our session factory? Local session factory bean. This is the one which is going to create Hibernate session factory for us. Till I enter boot. Spring Boot changes the game. Now, and they have given you this session factory. Once it is created, can I directly inject it in my DAO layer, data access object layer? 100% yes. Which is the annotation we are going to use for dependency injection is equal to automatic wiring? I mean wiring at auto wired. Making sense? So now this tag, what is this tag doing? Spring is not a magician. So you have to give some information. So this is the class we are configuring. This is the local session factory which we are configuring. So now, when I say P colon, P expands to what? Property tag or constructor argument tag? Property tag. So is it a setter based DI or is it a constructor based DI? Setter based DI. What is the name of the property and what is its value? There's no name and ref. Actual value we are injecting. What is the name? Packages to scan. And what is the value? com.app.pojus. Okay, hold on. Let me ask you a question in Hibernate. In our standalone Hibernate, standalone means the before we are entering Spring Hibernate integration, in our standalone Hibernate, in my application, suppose there were 5 entities and 5 value types. I'm giving you the numbers again. In my standalone Hibernate, before we enter in Spring, if I had 5 entities and 5 embeddables as value types, how many mapping entries we have to make in Hibernate cfg.xml file? Is it 1, 5, 10, none of above, all of above cannot be? Of course, you're right, 5. So tell me, making 5 entries is good or making only 1 entry sounds better? Obvious dumb question, 1 entry. And that is what you get. So guys, listen to this very carefully. You are telling this local session factory bean at the time of bootstrapping of Hibernate, at the time of creation of a session factory, which is the package under which you are going to keep the entities, which is the package to scan for entities? That answer is com.app.pojus. Can I put it as ABC? Of course, yes. So you can see my package, for example, and your local session factory bean will look into only that package to read your Pojus. Making sense? So how many entries will you require? Just 1 entry, 1 property, guys. See the advanced thing we are learning. And then, of course, this connection pool is getting injected. So this is again the setter-based DI. But when you say hyphen ref, is it a name value pair or is it a name ref pair? Of course, everyone can understand name and ref. And this data source, which is nothing but a connection pool, has been injected. So it has got 2 dependencies. One is packages to scan, the name of the package, and the connection pool represented by data source, both injected. I hope everyone remembers this. What is show SQL for? Debugging purpose only. After your project is all tested and developed and deployed, remove this. And here, I hope you remember this HBM to DDL. If table is not created, it will create the table. But if the tables are already created, will it continue or will it like create all over? Of course, it will continue. So this is where you are configuring your session factory provider bean, which is nothing but a local session factory bean. And the best news, after coming to Spring-like framework, which is integration master, one-stop shop, do you have to handle your own transactions or will it be done automatically by Spring? Programmer or Spring? Answer is Spring. And you just look at it, guys, and you'll understand who is supplying this transaction manager bean to us. You can see the OS, and we are in the same whatever package, ORM module. Look it up, because that tells you so much more understanding. It tells you here somewhere. Yeah. So here, Hibernate transaction manager, and not getting there. You can this thing Hibernate transaction. Oh, I'm into that. Sorry, I thought I was not there. So here, this is your Hibernate transaction manager, which we are configuring. It implements some interface platform transaction manager, and read this. Okay, read till this much. Wait a second. Okay, read this much. This is Hibernate Transaction Manager, a class which implements Spring-specific platform transaction manager interface, and it is an implementation for a single Hibernate session factory. So once you use this session factory, I mean, you'll see injector. It is from us. It is using a pattern. This session per thread. So do you remember there was a method? There was a property in Hibernate configuration XML current session context, and that value we had given to thread. So I don't have to do this. It will automatically do. And which is the method of the session factory we'll have to call to get the session bound to the thread per request? Get current session or open session? Get current session. Now you must be understanding why I gave you the complete practice on get current session, because this is what we are continuing. So in your Davlier, which we will write in couple of minutes, you will use the whatever session factory dot get current session as before, but the transaction manager bean will automatically manage the transactions. Okay, so the last tag to explain. If you want to, okay, so I hope you understood that you are not going to manage the transaction. Spring container is going to manage. But do you want to write some Spring code, or do you want the annotation support? Do you want to do the annotation based programming? Yes. And which is that one annotation which will take care of this? I showed you from the layers. Anyone remembers? One annotation @transactional. It's not transaction, but it's close enough, transactional. So to enable that support, you have the tag tx : tx is another namespace. If you check my namespaces here, beans, context, P for property, MVC will be, okay, in this, I don't require MVC, that is in Spring Servlet, and a transaction. So come back to source. This is what is the content for Spring Hibernate integration. But let me ask you a small question and then I'll give you a break, much needed break. Here is this file, what is its name? Hibernate persistence. By the way, this is my given name. You can call it as abc.xml, for example. So is this file going to be automatically read by the container? Answer is no. So let me ask you a question. Can you tell me the name of the configuration file which dispatcher servlet reads for starting the Spring container? Which is that master configuration file, spring-servlet.xml. Can you please open that? And now see the last line. Till now, we were only in Spring MVC. Now we want to integrate it with Hibernate. So simply uncomment this line. So now tell me, you know import, but you know importing of Java classes and the interfaces and all. Here we are importing the contents of Hibernate persistence XML file in that root configuration file. Means what? Let me ask you, and then we'll stop here for a break. Who is going to read this file? The configuration file, dispatcher servlet. When it will be read? After the first request or deployment time? Deployment time. So all these instructions I have already explained. So when the control comes here, which is which file now it will start reading? From the class path, src main resources, it will start solving. Solving means what? It will start creating all these beans. So take a look at my beans and tell me, singleton or prototype, eager or lazy. Pick up any bean. What is the answer? I told you yesterday itself, 99% of the times you'll require singleton and eager. So at the time when we run the server, at the deployment time, your Hibernate will be also up and running. So has everyone, let me say, because we are going to just run it and stop here for the break, not just stop. So here, have you uncommented this line, guys? Otherwise, nothing will happen. How will you import? And the another question is, has everyone edited this username and a password? Yes or no? And let me ask you the last question. Here, till now, whatever console story we read, is it showing Hibernate framework up and running still? Have we integrated? Had we integrated Hibernate? Did you see anything in Hibernate till now? Answer is no. So now is the testing time, and then in 10 minutes break you can check. I'll share the next next version of this. So you know the whole thing. So right click and all and keep the eyes on console. We have not done the full this. We are just halfway done kind of a thing. So right click, run as deploy basically, and look at your console, double click on console, all eyes on console, their own console, Don't even go to the client space, not worth it. And tell me, is your Hibernate up and running? Or is it throwing you tons of exceptions? And did we have to write something like Hibernate utils where you create a configure.build session factory? Absolutely not. Everything was done automatically by the local session factory bean, and our singleton session factory is already existing. Okay, so good time to stop, take a 10 minutes break. I will share this much. Please adjust edit database property file. Let me create a zip. If something is not working, check it out. Just compare. So where are we? Day 16 Spring MVC. Let me share. Guys, help each other. If we as in lab faculties cannot reach out to everyone, you can always reach out each other, help each other and troubleshoot their problems. So I've sent you this. All you have to do is, in case it is not working, just compare, edit database property file, and that will be it. So let's have a 10 minutes break and resume at 5 minutes after 1. Good afternoon and welcome back. So I hope what we were discussing earlier, you remember. So we are trying a Spring Hibernate integration for solving which part of the larger case study? Only the authentication part. So tell me, which are the layers we are going to develop? The layers are controller, managing. Managing means calling the service layer method, service calling the DAO layer method, DAO layer hitting the database with the same JPQL select. I'm not saying what you learned earlier is all gone waste. We are building on that. Okay, but that was a standalone Hibernate. Today you are integrating it with Spring. Okay, and then the results are coming to DAO layer, which will be returned to the business logic layer earlier, which was having Java bean. So now we have got a service layer instead, a controller. Controller will return the results of the business action to the dispatcher servlet. Tell me how. How will our user controller will return the business logic results to dispatcher servlet? Answer me. Yes, using the model attributes. We'll not go to model and view. We will use model attributes via model map. And then we will write a JSP and we'll see whether it is available at all. Okay, that is what we are doing. So now, if you start really writing from scratch, okay, I'll tell you what we are going to copy is only the Pojo, user Pojo, which we have already developed earlier, and the DAO layer interface, nothing else. Everything we are going to write on our own this fully from scratch. So go to your earlier day 14 CMS Hibernate, and here let me go to SRC main Java. Here we have all these pojos. Okay, pick up all the pojos. Pojos I'm not going to waste time in writing again because it will become again same thing and done. So pick up the pojos package, Control C. Are you understanding? Earlier CMS Hibernate, standalone Hibernate, and paste it under day 16 Spring MVC, SRC main Java. Paste it. Did you paste it? I mean, tell me when you have copied it. Done? Okay. So now tell me, if the name of the package is Pojos, will your session factory discover all of it? Will it get reflected or not? Answer is no. It should be exactly. So here you have two choices. Either change this, where is that? Property packages to scan. You know what I'm talking about. Either change this value to Pojos or simply rename refactor the package name to, what should be the package name? Where your session factory will search, local session factory bean will search is COMAP Pojos. So let's not touch the XML file. They are too sensitive. So, I mean, doesn't matter really, but whatever I mean. So here, refactor, right click on Pojos, refactor rename, and call it as com.app.pojos. Okay, so just a simple refactoring. Done. Rename the package Pojos to COMAP Pojos. Okay. Now I'm saying I can't just copy this. Okay, we'll do this. Now let us create the folder. Folder is in package under day 16. Let us create the DAO and service and keep it ready. So SRC main Java, new. You can say somewhere, where's that package? Can you see package here? I can't. There must be somewhere. I did not see. So I'm creating a package here. Where are you going to write all your DAO layer beans? The package name should start from com app and you are used to DAO. So this, and create one more package here. There's no shortcut here. SRC, they are yet empty. So do you see somewhere here? No, at least I did not. And call it as com.app.service. So tell me, they are blank. They are empty packages. So com app DAO, what is that? Com app service created, empty packages, empty folders. Done all of that? Great. Now you tell me, should we write it in the bottoms up manner or top down manner? Typically, what is our development style? Bottoms up, correct? So here I was telling you, copy that, only the interface. Or okay, why don't you spend a minute? Because that is when you are going to enjoy the reduction of boilerplate code and all. Just look at it, okay? Don't do anything. Pay attention. There is a validate user method which we want to call. But now, why don't you look at this DAO implementation class? Actually, we can make the copy and we can reduce it on the fly. Anyway, look at it. So can you tell me which are the only lines which are non-boilerplate, non-repetitive? Can you tell me the line numbers from my code which are non-repetitive, which are going to differ from logic to logic? Line number 18 and of course the JPQL. Of course, JPQL will change and this will also change. Agreed? Rest all is the repetitive one. What is that repetitive one? Getting the session, beginning the transaction, committing, rollbacking, rethrowing. Everyone clear? So if you want to really appreciate means why Spring? You want to explain to interviewers and all. How about, let's copy the earlier one and we'll make changes. Earlier I was thinking I'll write it from scratch, but to show you that, what do you say, impact, to give you that impact. So copy iUserDAO and userDAO MPL and put it under the com app down layer. Done. You'll have a problem. Is our package name this thing Pojos now or com.app.pojos? Com app Pojos. You can say Control Shift O. You can just say, okay, by the way, you don't have to type. You simply say Control Shift O. It will automatically bring in this. So tell me, throws any exception, SQL exception, required or not required? Of course, not required. Earlier, your Hibernate was catching SQL exception and translating it to Hibernate exception. Now Spring is managing the whole show. So Hibernate will send these exceptions to what? To your Spring, and there will be a common data access exception still unchecked. So that fact remains the same. Check to uncheck translation is happening. And now the most interesting thing will be, just a second, just say here Control Shift O. It is asking you which user. So choose com app Pojos user. Finish. And now start answering the questions. Are you going to get this session factory from anywhere such as Hibernate utils? Is dependent object going to get the dependency, or is it going to be auto-wired by Spring? IOC or tight coupling? IOC, auto-wiring. But guys, do it systematically. Otherwise, this is the place where majority people make mistakes. So hold on. What is it we are configuring here? Down layer. So how to tell Spring container, whatever follows is a down layer, there is a compulsory annotation. What is the annotation? @ repository. And what will be the dependency of the down layer? Session factory. And do you want to get it from utils or do you want to use auto wiring? You already answered auto wiring. Okay, so do it layer by layer without making a mistake. So start with the compulsory @ repository annotation. Take a cursor here and you'll see indicates that an annotated class is a repository. And here it will tell you, yeah, teams implementing have patterns such as data access object. So basically it is for down layer. Okay, so here make it mandatory to tell, mandatory annotation to tell. This is all read by Spring. Okay, to tell Spring container that whatever follows or the following class contains, you tell me, contains request handling logic, business logic, or data access logic. Tell me. Everyone should know the answer. Data access logic. It is nothing but your down layer. And you know this from JDBC days, data access layer. So data access logic, pure this. Okay, so this is a compulsory annotation. Now, always think in what is the dependent and what is the dependency. So which is the dependent object? Down is the dependent object, and write it down so that you will not make a mistake. Dependency is the session factory. So instead of creating a constructor and tight coupling your down layer with the session factory, leading to tight coupling, here simply tell the container auto-wire it. So when you use only @ auto-wired annotation, what is it? Is it by name or is it by type? It is by type. And when you say the next line, session factory, say SF something, I mean. So here, what is it container going to do? Is container going to match by the property name, or is it going to match by the qualifier, or is it going to match by the type? Qualifier, property name, or the type? Of course, the type. So what is it going to check? Is there any bean which has implemented session factory? Is it of the type session factory? And guys, I have already explained it in detail. I wanted to explain superficially. I ended up going detailed. So there is already a local session factory bean whose purpose is to give you session factory. So at this point, 100%, the session factory bean will be injected. The local session factory bean as a provider of session factory will be done. And you don't have to write that utils layer. utils layer is all gone. Now, okay, did you understand the meaning of auto wiring? Wrong import? Which is the wrong import? Oh yeah, thanks. Otherwise, my rest of it would have gone this. org.hibernate.session factory. You know, this is what happens when I'm talking to you and, not paying enough attention. Thanks. Okay, so correct it. See, check this thing. Remove this unnecessary import. You don't require this. No Hibernate utils hereafter. Okay, so check it. org Hibernate, all that's fine. Anyway, now you start answering. So finally, we are coming to the DAO implementation method. We had removed the constructor, cleanup, all that earlier. Now, you start participating. Change or no change? Quick question, quick answer. No change. Okay. Do you still have to get the session from the session factory? Yes. That part is not gone. Okay. But can you write the whole thing in one line? See, I'm trying to sell today, Spring Hibernate integration. So what I'll do is keep this for your reference. It's good to compare what it was earlier, before and after types. And let's start. One liner, literally one liner. Okay, this is an easy one. When we go little advanced, when we have relationships and all that, 1 or 2 lines, but not more than that. So return here, session dot, everything I'm just removing the bulk, but not bulk, what was that? Boilerplate code. Session, okay, sorry. Too much in a hurry. SF dot get current session. What this gives me? The current session object bound to the thread. And first time I'm calling it, of course, a new session, new L1 cache. All the concepts are the same. Now, do I want to say session.get or fire a JPQL? Fire a JPQL. Okay. So let me not go overstretch. Otherwise, you can do that also. Get current session, which is the method to call. Everyone should know it, middle of night types. 2 argumented because it is a JPQL select. So first argument is JPQL. Second argument is what? User.class. Change or no change, setting the parameter, getting the single result, same. So if you want, you can write it. Or if you're fond of typing, type it out. So I'm just checking, So it is email and password. And here I've said email and password. You know what to match. Oh, sorry. Where is my PWD? Oh, it was correct. And then you finish it. You don't require my help for this. We've been doing it almost the entire week. Just check. So sf.get current session, good. Create, again, this is thanks to that IntelliSense. Create query, JPQL and user.class. Set parameter, the email is the parameter name em, yes. Set parameter pass, okay, get single result. So tell me, are you still want to write this entire repetitive, irritating boilerplate code? Or do you want to read? Do you want to learn Spring Hibernate integration? See, I have to sell. I can't just push the technology on you. You have to get sold on that or whatever. Okay. So this is what it is. And two more layers. Okay. One is pure JPA, and one, the ultimate thing which you'll use in your projects is yet another Spring Data JPA. Over time, I'll take you there. So at least, is everyone happy with the grand reduction of boilerplate code? See, I use all these adjectives so that you understand the point. So I hope everyone agrees that the DAO layer has become really thin. So quick recap. Tell Spring Container it is a repository is equal to DAO layer. Don't bother writing the Hibernate utils and creating that session factory instance in that static initializer block, all gone. Directly start writing a whatever CRUD style method. And here, your session factory is already injected thanks to your local session factory bean, which we have configured in that Hibernate persistence XML. This part is exactly the same. But where is the transaction beginning and ending? It is again done automatically, but I have to add the annotation here. So guys, listen to, okay, by the way, you said Control Shift O and so many unnecessary imports will be gone. So which imports you will have at the end of the day? As in after Control Shift O, session factory, auto add annotation, repository and user. There should not be fifth one. This line, actually Avinash, I'm honoring your request, but I expect you to write this line. That is what is learning. This is the most important line. So do try it out, guys, in the lab when you have more time, please. Because this is what is the main thing you are learning. Okay, so coming back to the point, you can always compare this whole, whatever, 10 lines of code versus one. So coming back to the point, I think we are done. Yeah, so the dependency was injected and we are simply using it. Right. I was saying, talking about transaction management. So transaction management is going to be done by whom? Programmer, Hibernate, or Spring supplied some bean. Okay, programmer, Hibernate, Spring. Please, one of the options, Spring. So which is the bean we have configured in the XML file? Hibernate Transaction Manager. So, but people must be confused here definitely that how it all happens. So answer is one, annotation. So listen to this carefully. If you come across the fact, if you think, I'm projective, if you think that there is not not much of a business logic and service layer which I have not yet written is simply calling the DAO layer logic, you can skip the service layer. And if you don't use the service layer, you can add that add transaction annotation right here. But since this is the first time we are integrating Spring MVC Hibernate, I want to show you all layers. So let me ask you a quick question. If you are going to maintain service and DAO layer both as a clear-cut separation, where should be add transactional annotation? S for service, D for DAO, both or neither. It should be on the service layer. But if you are skipping the service layer because there is not too much of a business logic, can you skip the add transactional annotation? No. Then where it has to appear? On the DAO layer. But will you ever put it on both? Generally not. Okay, so keep that with you. So your DAO layer is all done. Now, which is the layer who is going to call the DAO layer method? Controller or service? You know the answer. It is the service layer. So which is the compulsory annotation to tell container that this is your service layer at service. And since it is going to be injected in the controller ultimately, we start with the service layer interface. So open this, we'll finish it fast and we'll be able to test it also. So you can, if you want, you can close all these things. And we have got an empty service layer, right click, new, first the interface. So simply look for interface. And here, same pattern, I, user, service. Earlier we had I, user, DAO. Now this is a service layer. Like how we write in React. We don't add that calling the backend, Axios. All we write is a service layer. Very similar to that. That was used for calling the backend APIs. This is used for business logic layer. So I, user, service, separation. Separation is the same. And here, let me have the same thing. User, and I'll say validate user or authenticate user. All I'm showing you is login. Get user. And the two arguments which your controller will pass to the service layer is email and password. No throws clause. Okay, Control Shift O. Please paste it, import it from comma Pojos user. So this is what it is. You tell me when you are done. Return the method. Okay, so now we have to implement it in the service implementation class. Service, right click, new class, And here we are following the same naming pattern, user, service, IMVL, and implement the interface. Don't implement iUser DAO, iUser service. Service layer implements its own interface, obviously. Check it out. User service IMPL implementing iUser service, which is the compulsory annotation to tell Spring Container that this contains the business logic. So tell Spring Container that this class contains business logic is at service, servicing logic, and this, and which is the more than important annotation to tell Spring Container manage the transactions. That's your JavaX transaction. I'm so sorry. The next one, OS transaction. I'll wait here. Hear my statement. Otherwise, you'll start getting class cast exceptions and the errors and whatnot. So choose everything from OS transaction annotation. Okay. So at transactional, there are a lot of attributes for this, attributes later. So to tell Spring Container to use transaction manager bean to automatically handle the transactions. And over time, you'll understand the moment you add one annotation, by the way, it can come at the method level also, that I'll show you later. Spring Containers that transaction manager bean, you know, OS, ORM, Hibernate, etc., Hibernate transaction manager bean will begin the transaction automatically. And when there are no errors, when there is no exception, will it commit the transaction or will it roll back the transaction in case of no errors? Obvious question. It will commit the transaction. And in case there are any exception in the DAO layer, of course, it will automatically roll back. So hereafter, you don't have to write the transaction management code. So all now I'm doing here. Oh, sorry. I forgot. So these are the compulsory annotations. Now, you want to answer who is dependent upon whom? Service layer is dependent upon, tell me, what is the dependency of the service layer on the DAO? Few days ago, we were saying Java Bean is dependent on the DAO. But that time, it was a tight coupling. Means what? Java Bean was creating the instance of the DAO layer. So the moment the DAO layer changes, the dependency changes, the dependent object was getting affected, leading to what? Tight coupling. So here, do you want tight coupling or loose coupling? Of course, loose coupling. So here, we want to inject DAO layer interface, and which is the annotation to tell the container, do this automatic wiring by type at AutoWired. And here, sorry. What is it you are going to inject? I already gave the answer, interface. So private iUser DAO. Oh. See, user DAO. Are you understanding the whole object graph we are building? Controller, service, service calling DAO, DAO using the session factory and managing it all with so much reduction in code. Finished so far? Added the dependency. Okay. And all I'm doing here is currently there is no business logic. So, I mean, I'm not writing business logic. I'm just calling the method user DAO dot validate user and sending the email and a password. So this is a perfect case, guys, you know, where you can skip one layer and add the transactional annotation in the DAO layer and finish it in the easier manner. But first time, so of course, we are not doing it. We are doing it properly. So tell me, is your DAO layer done? Is your service layer done? You let me know. I mean, not in a hurry. Okay. So now you just have to connect it to the controller. So open, which is the controller we had? Suspended user controller. So we have got, if you remember, I have already got the email and a password. Earlier, JSP was sending it to the bean, calling set property, JSP colon set property setters. Here I have got a dependency injection, two request parameters getting injected. So now, can you tell me who has to call, imagine which layer has to call which layer method for which purpose? Yes, please. Which layer has to call? Controller has to invoke which method, guys? Service layer method. For what? For execution of business logic. You remember in earlier, JSP used to call the Java Beans business logic method using EL syntax. This is all Java code, so it becomes so easy. But before calling the method, okay, let me ask you. Now, which is the dependent object and what is going to be its dependency? Tell me NT dependent, CY dependency. NT dependent is which one and dependency is which one? Who is dependent upon whom? Okay, user controller is the dependent object. And do you want me to create the instance of the service layer in the constructor? Never. We are into IOC. So simply tell the container that this is what I'm dependent upon. You manage the dependencies. Age-old statement. Instead of dependent objects managing their dependencies, Spring container is going to create that service layer instance and pass it to us. So the dependency is nothing but service layer interface. Write lot of comments, guys, because this is your first day for integration. Later it becomes very kind of repetitive. So here private, what was that? I user service. Okay. And here I'm saying I'm not injecting. If you inject the class, then you are not giving a chance for the Spring container to choose the right instance. So always inject interfaces. Interface reference can refer to implementation class. Okay. So this is also, oh, I forgot. You please tell me when I make a mistake. I mean, I just talked about it, but never wrote. So at AutoWired is always by type. Is going to match. Is there any bean which has implemented our user service? So what is the answer? Is it going to find any bean or not? Of course it is going to find. Which bean? User service implementation. What makes it a Spring bean? At service annotation, which is a special form of at component annotation, and it is going to inject it. Okay, so done with the code. Have you injected this dependency? Okay, now let's write the last bit and we are ready to test. So here, who has to call whose method and all, you know this. So user service dot authenticate user, and I've got my email and a password. So do the invocation of the method. And what is it going to return? Say control1, assign statement to new local variable. It's a user. I mean, you can see that user. Do this much. Just let controller call the service layer method. Very, very similar to your earlier this Java Bean and all that. Can I continue? Okay, so tell me, if the credentials are correct, what is it this method is going to return? Question 1. Or okay, first answer that. In case of correct credentials, what is it we are going to get? Okay, valid user details. But guys, you have learned Hibernate with me. So give me the adjective: transient, persistent, detached, or removed. Zero. Wrong. Detached. Guys, here I told you just now, when you use at transactional annotation, after this service layer method, when the service layer method is called, automatically the Hibernate transaction manager bean is going to begin the transaction. And when the method over, it is going to commit the transaction or roll back. So in case of correct credentials, go deeper. Everything you know, we're just putting it together with Spring. In case of correct transactions, correct credentials, what is it going to return me? Of course, persistent user. But by the time I come to the end of transactional method, this is where either in case of success, transaction is going to be over. Transaction boundary over. So if I don't get any exceptions, what will it call? Commit or rollback? Commit. In case of exceptions, rollback. So now tell me, in case of commit or rollback, the session will get session will be open or session will be automatically closed. Why you are saying you are right, but why you are saying that? You have all the things learned. The moment I say get current session, do you require explicit closing the session, or does it get closed on a boundary of a transaction? Making sense? See, now you know that earlier learning was so important to understand this. It's not auto-closable fact. The answer is the session which you open via get current session is automatically closed on the boundary of a transaction. It is not that auto-closable interface, guys. Okay, so let me ask you again. In case of, you write it down. In case of success, as in, successful login, what is it returning? You will get a detached. The moment transaction is over, session is closed, L1 cache is all gone, and all the entities are unbound. That is detached, but the record is not gone from the database. Are you getting me? So detached Pojo. And now the main question. In case of failed login, in case of invalid login, tell me, what will I get? What will I get in case in case of invalid login? You know this very good. Are you going to get a null value, or are we going to get an exception? Not null, exception. Because which is the method we have used here? Get single result. So take the cursor here and you'll see it doesn't say here. Okay, but you know this thing, no single result. So why I'm not getting any compiler error here? What is that exception type? Checked or unchecked? Unchecked. But you remember in Java Bean, we were adding a try catch block and we were checking the routing. Valid, invalid, admin, customer. That is what we will write here. So looking at time, go a little faster. Simply wrap this method in a try catch block. Which exception should I catch? Checked exception or unchecked exception? Of course, this is same as, okay, not same, but similar as Java Bean. Runtime exception. All Spring supplied exceptions, Spring thrown exceptions, Hibernate thrown exceptions are all unchecked. But guys, first time, don't assume things. So you say error in which class? So get class. And which method? Whatever method. What is that method name? Process login form. You can have the method also name, but anyway, process login form, and most importantly, plus E. So anyone wants to tell me what is the value, which exception? Of course, you will get no result exception. Thrown by Hibernate. Okay. And in this case, now you know the navigation. You have the diagram. I mean, you don't need the diagram. So tell me, should I take the client in the topics or in that admin page, or should I take him back to the login page? Take him back to the login page. So anyone wants to tell me here, what should I return? You will tell me. think and answer. We are in Spring MVC. We are not in JSP Java Bean. So yes, please. I hope you are giving absolutely excellent answer, guys. Makes me so happy before the lunch break. So here, of course, you are going to just give the logical view name and let your view resolver figure it out, the actual view name. So which was it? /user/login. A good answer. I mean, that tells me why I'm so happy, because I think that, okay, something is reaching you. So here, this thing, in case of invalid login, is it a forward or is it a redirect? Forward. Forward the client to login page. But okay, so since you responded so nicely, I can give you more stress. I mean, more question. No stress. Question. So if I just forward the client to the login page, of course, he will see the login form again, he or she. But they will never know what went wrong. So forward the client to the login page, plus I want error message. You know, highlighted with error message. So show me more intelligence, smartness. So if I want to add the error message as a attribute, more clues, where should I add it? Where should I add this error message? How to add this? Of course, model attribute. Is it coming together nicely? Earlier, we had to put you remember in the Java being a property, private string message or error message and do that. Now, no such hassles. So, container is your slave. Ask one more dependency. What is that dependency we want? Empty model map. You have a lot to revise, guys, in this thing. So I'll not trouble you. If in case I'll help you in case you want any revision help. So anyway, so here, if you print this, same answer, I mean, same question. Null, empty map or a populated map? Of course, an empty map. You know that. And proper email and password values, hoping that we have matched. And before saying return, just add error message in the model map. Okay, and you know this. So which is the API you learned? Map.add attribute. You can have something like error message. You can choose whatever. Or okay, let's make it simple message, because I can use that same thing for valid message also. And what I want is something invalid login. Please retry. Making sense? If you have spent some amount of time not making sense, oh, there is a lag? No lag. Okay, fine. I thought it is not making sense. I'll repeat. I don't know if you lost anything. See, your DAO layer method is going to throw you no result exception. But you have not caught it. So that exception will be thrown from DAO to service, service to what? Controller. And we always do the error handling in the topmost layer. So we added a try catch. Since all the exceptions are unchecked, we are catching the runtime. This is for your debugging, your understanding. And finally, I want to inform. But who is going to talk to the client? Who is going to generate the presentation logic? JSP. But can I, the handler, can it directly talk to the JSP? Answer is no. But that intermediary is dispatcher servlet. So simply get the empty model map from the container, populate it with attributes, and send it back to the dispatcher servlet. So same story repeating. What is it I'm explicitly sending here? Logical view name, which gets translated to what? Actual view name, sandwiched between WebINF use and .jsp. But can anyone tell me? In addition, implicitly, what else gets added? What else is sent? Implicitly, the model attribute, model map. You're absolutely right. So what is that map containing? A single model attribute. I'm not having multiple, and this is nothing but your error. Oh, okay, so message is being sent. And last question, if I want to read that error message, where your dispatcher servlet will add the model attributes, PRSA, page request session application. In which scope it will store? In the request scope. So how do I read it off? From the login page, open login.jsp, and I want to read it off. So all that is, you know, this styling. This styling means choosing the color. Red for highlighting errors. Yes, please. Which is the implicit, what is the name? Yes, absolutely correct. So EL syntax. And what is the name of the map? Request scope. And what is the name of the attribute? Guys, don't trust your spellings, and last minute, don't feel disappointed that it's not working. Okay, so that does it. Fine. So request scope dot message, and this will get us somewhere. Now let us test the valid branch. So in valid branch, okay, so let me say, if the control comes here, what does it imply? Control comes to the next line, valid login or invalid login. I hope you are remembering it. The same thing we did a couple of days back in Java Bean, valid login. So now, what is the next check I should do? Everyone knows the answer. Next check, please. Directly forward or check something. What is it? Which are the two actors in our system? Wrong, wrong. Yogesh, null is wrong. Oh, we have already got an exception. Yes, role-based authorization, which will be replaced by Spring Security in a couple of days, next week, I mean. So anyway, so here you don't have it. You do, I mean, I'm not showing you Spring Security. So you have to do the authentication, authorization all by yourself. So user dot get something. Yeah, get role dot equals. Okay. So if it is equal to, I guess, customer, right? Let me just check. com.app.pojos enum customer. Yeah. It's the same logic. Oh, sorry. What is it I'm doing? My mistake. I was going to say string. So sorry. It's a enum. So if the user dot get role equal to dot carried away dot customer. Yes, please. Now tell me. Don't answer blindly. Look at the flow diagram. If it is customer, this is the flow we are starting, right? So tell me, are you going to set topics.jsp or something else? I'll ask you again. See, I want to show the topics page. Okay, of course, later. But here, if I say, okay, let me write something and tell me correct or wrong. Else, return. This means the admin login. So I'm saying return here admin.jsp. Right or wrong? I hope I'm getting 10. I should be getting 200 answers. Yes, wrong. We are in Spring. That was so cute. So of course, we don't want to. We want to hide the JSPs. So give me a good suggestion. Yes, please. What should I return? Come out with something. Slash topics. Okay. Slash user slash topic. Are we now entering the customer domain or are we still in the common domain? Now we are entering the customer specific things. So why don't we do the further separation, guys? So slash customer. This is the how you develop a bigger project. Slash customer slash topics. Are you understanding? The common login logout, we'll do it in user controller. Soon means after everything. So we will write the customer controller to handle all customer centric actions, and then the admin controller for admin. Are we getting it somewhat? And here, let's say slash admin. We don't have anything. We will build over time. This is a full case study. Doesn't get built in 2 hours. Slash admin. And let me see this. sorry. I've sent you this. So here, I just want to have a something. So, okay, I'll say something. I was going to say tutorial list. No. So let me have, so admin/admin something /success. I could not think of something else. So let's say this. So tell me, there are 3 outcomes. So in case of invalid login, dispatcher servlet is going to forward the client to which page? WebINF views/user/login.jsp. We already have it done. So now I'm stopping here. You will take it up. You will this thing. So can you tell me the actual view name? Because that will tell you how to go further or this thing. So yes, please. So the initial part is the same. There's the initial part. You write. Anyway, otherwise I'll share. WebINF views and add this whole. Okay, .jsp. So when you come back from your lunch break, properly taken a break and refresh and all, what is it you are going to add? You are going to add a topics.jsp under which folder? WebINF views we have already got. Create a subfolder customer and all customer centric view layer, you put it there. Proper MVC separation. And in this case, naturally, what will be the actual view name? Meaning what will be the next page where will you write this? So here, this part is the same, right? Admin and let's say success, or okay, success is this, welcome. Okay, I changed this. That time, I could not think of anything. So let's say admin welcome page, welcome.jsp. Got it? Understanding this? I know I'm stretching it last few days a lot. Excuse me, just a matter of few days. Then you will be like over with the stress. Okay, so coming back to the last question quickly. Now, this is all going to happen in future in the lab. So here, in either case, you can, if you see the case study, that is why I give you a flow diagram. In either case, here I have not written, I forgot. I want to find out, I want to say hello followed by username. And here also I want to say hello, here I have written admin name. So if I want to store validated user details in Spring MVC, what should I choose? You know the answer already. How do we communicate? Using model attributes. And why we are saying model attributes? They are stored in the request scope, and all we are playing so far is the forward view, I mean server pull. So before you do this, add validated user details under model map. And you know how to do that. Map dot add attribute. You can say your user details. You can use any key. It's just an attribute name and the whole user. Yes. Relating it to the things which we had done earlier all these days. Understanding this. Spend at least 1 hour in complete revision. And when I say complete revision, all you have to do is import the project and press all the links from index.jsp. I'll join you somewhere in the revision. So I think we are done here as far as lunch break is concerned. User details and all that. Okay, so let's try running this. In the invalid case, you'll be able to see this. But have we written this topics page and the welcome page yet? We haven't. So there you will get all these 404, but still you will be able to understand. Let's try it out and call it a break. Am I getting a, oh, user controller, there's some compiler error. Oh yeah, this is unreachable statement that was originally added. So please remove it. It's unreachable code. Okay, so now right click, run as, run on server. Watch the console, guys. Should not have any error in the console. All the beans I can see all the Hibernate also up and running. And click on user login. This was already tested. So let me give wrong credentials. Tell me, is your invalid login flow working? And story is there on the backend. So Hibernate has fired the select query you know, JPQL translated to SQL, and you have got, because of the invalid credentials, no result exception. Return null is wrong. Oh, okay. I think you're responding to earlier one. Yeah. So this was your invalid branch. Tested, okay. The invalid branch first. Okay. And now let us give the correct one. I think Rama is there. Gmail.com. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we are given her admin access. Of course, 4 not 4. But are you seeing this, guys? Web-INF views admin welcome.jsp. So it is just a matter of writing that admin page, and this tells you that this flow is working fine. This is how you should do the smart testing. And let's have, I think Kiran, right? KI or this, I don't remember. I think it is that. I may be wrong. We'll know. And here, what is it we are seeing? Customer topics page. So that tells me my branches, all 3 branches tested okay. Understood 10%, 20% about that Spring Hibernate integration. And I hope you are finding it extremely interesting. It is one of the greatest technologies, and still you have not learned Spring Boot. Okay, so all of that and much more we'll do in the labs. Take your time revising each and everything, and I'll join you somewhere, and with whatever revision, I'll take you ahead. That will be all. See you in the labs. Okay, before that, you want a quick this thing? I mean, no, I'm not saying a word, don't worry. Just giving you a zip. So, I want to send you the zip in case you want it. I'll be uploading the data shortly. Just day 16 data. So send you that. See you in the labs.